put the helmets up there. I know nobody on our crew hiked up that mountain. Had to hire out. Welcome everybody to Chase Field. It's Saturday night. Big crowd expected. It's the Rockies and Diamondbacks, both enjoying outstanding seasons. And last night the Rockies got off the snide. They ended that 8-game losing streak and beat the Diamondbacks 6-3. And they're going to face Zack Greinke tonight as he strides to the mound. Always a tough customer. Last night's game started with Charlie Blackmon hitting one over the pool in right center field to give the Rockies a quick lead. His 25th leadoff home run of his career. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight. Charlie will be followed by Raimel Tapia. Ian Desmond was hitting the 2 spot with DJ LeMahieu down. DJ getting really close to coming back. Desmond not good numbers against Greinke, so he's going to come off the bench tonight. And then it's Arenado, Reynolds, Trevor Story, Alexi Amarista, Mike Tauchman getting the start in left field. He'll bat 7th, and Tony Walters batting 8th, so a lot of left-handed bats in there this evening for Buddy Black. Tyler Chatwood has the baseball, as you know. And Zack Greinke, 9-4, much better this year than he was a year ago in an Arizona uniform, and particularly so here at Chase Field in contrast to 2016.
Yeah, he's 7-0 with the 268 here at Chase. The ERA at 3.08, that's good for 8th in the National League, tied for 2nd in wins. A lot of strikeouts with 116. This really hasn't changed in Zack Greinke's career and what he's thrown. He likes to throw all 4 pitches in the first inning. It's a little bit unusual for some pitchers to do that, but he likes to do it to see if he can get a feel for one in particular that he can go to later on in the ball game.
So here we go. Charlie steps in. And the first pitch of the night from Greinke is pulled foul. So Charlie not in take mode, not when you know a guy well, and one of those guys that throws a great number of strikes, and also a guy you don't want to be behind against.
Well, he can paint it. He can put it on either corner that he wants to. He moves the ball around. He's like a surgeon out there, that he'll just cut and dice and try to figure out where that hole is. So you better not miss one when it's more center cut.
No, he didn't miss that spot there on the outside corner, and he's ahead 0-2.
But already you can see on the Subaru strike zone, there's one at the bottom, one away. And that's where he lives all night long.
Jeff Mathis is catching him tonight. They want it up and away, and Charlie's able to cover that. It's never easy.
Well, we saw Jeff Samardzija earlier on this road trip with the strikeout to walks, how he's done. Zack Greinke's there, Clayton Kershaw's there every year, Max Scherzer, and then Nova. How about that with Pittsburgh at 462 to round out the top 5 in the National League?
Yeah, Ivan Nova's having a good year, but you notice 3 guys out of the NL West.
Yeah.
Curveball, and it's bounce foul.
The velocity on that curveball, that's right where he'll sit at 73, 74 miles an hour. Fastball 91 to 92, but he can go get a little bit more if he needs to. Slider's going to be 84, and the changeup's going to be about 87.
Listen, the Rockies have always been very competitive against Greinke. This year he's 1-1, but he has an ERA of 3.98 against Colorado. They come inside, he went, and Jeff Mathis will finish the play with a throw to Goldschmidt. So strikeout by Greinke, and we'll take a look at how Arizona lines defensively tonight. Daniel Descalso is in left field. Ray Fuentes, he's in your picture right there. He's a rookie. He's in center field tonight. David Peralta is in right, and then it's Lamb, Owings, Drury, and Goldschmidt in the infield. And they switch up their catchers quite a bit. Chris Iannetta, the longtime Rocky, caught more games behind the plate than any other Rocky. He has yet to make an appearance in this series, but I wouldn't doubt that he starts tomorrow, and that is really unusual. I have 3 different starting catchers in a 3-game set, but that's what Torey Lovullo does quite frequently. This curveball's hammered high in deep right field. Did he get enough of it? Not quite. Peralta runs it down. Tapia missed that by half a grain, or he would have had a baseball swimming.
Yeah, he might have hit it just a little bit underneath the baseball on the bottom side, because that ball, when it was off the bat, I thought it would have had a chance to go back out into that pool where we did our open today. He waits and waits, And I think coming out of the box, he thought he had a chance to get it too, but David Peralta catches it about 2 strides in front of the fence out in right center field.
So here's Nolan. Arenado is 268 lifetime. No home runs, 5 driven in against Zach Greinke.
Well, Greinke's a little bit, maybe not quite as loud as Robbie Ray last night, but he grunts when he throws a pitch too.
And he missed out over the plate with that slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Welcome to July, everybody.
How about that? July 1st.
Crazy. When we say this, it seems, and it's reinforced being down here in Phoenix. You know, we spent so much time in Scottsdale in the latter part of the winter into the spring. And that seems literally like 5 minutes ago, and here we are in the second half of the year. Yesterday was game 82 for the Rockies. Tonight is game number 82 for the Diamondbacks, 83 for the Rockies.
But
Both
that's kind
teams
of the baseball
are
season, though.
Yeah, it just goes quickly.
And the days are long, but somehow the days, you know, the hours are long, but the days are short, it seems like.
Yeah. And that is hit hard, but it's right at the second baseman Drury. So the Rockies hit the ball hard twice, nothing to show for it. They go in order against Greinke. Tyler Chatwood will have the baseball next. First inside Chase Field. It is 109, by the way, outside, 80 degrees inside, so it's a degree warmer than it was yesterday. It was 108 last night outside and 79 inside. Tyler Chatwood, 6-8 mark, 432. And we talked about him a moment ago when we were out lounging at the pool. And Chatty's got to bounce back that last outing. 8 walks. I love the no stirrups and the
what a great look.
A different kind of sanitary tonight, shall we say.
I like that. And sometimes you just got to change up the mojo. And
Stars
for Tyler,
and Stripes weekend,
that's
baby.
Right. And for Tyler, he wants to put last one behind him as quickly as possible, because that was the first time in Rockies pitcher has issued 8 walks in less than 4 innings of work.
And you know then that the team you face next is going to be patient with you. And that first pitch bounces up there. It's 1-0.
And I think for Tyler, too, with all of these pitches, I think he needs to incorporate a few more curveballs and maybe a few more changeups tonight to go along with the fastball slider. Opponents are hitting just a mere 232 against him.
And that ball's left up, and it's hit hard toward the gap, and it's going to be extra bases for Descalso. In fact, he's thinking about 3. And the throw to third is on line, but it hit him, I believe.
It did, because he was out. But that's a hard throw for a second baseman to try to create, or a shortstop to try to create an angle into third base, because that ball's in right center field. So you're taught to line up towards the base and that is third base. But where is the runner going? He rounds second base, and he gets right in the same line as your throw. So the throw's coming in, it's going to beat him, but it goes off his back, and then Tyler's there to make sure that nothing happens and it doesn't skip into the dugout.
This will get the run home. And quick 1-0 lead for Arizona. Triple, RBI ground out David Peralta.
That's just the third first inning run that Tyler has allowed in his 16 starts.
Now it's Paul Goldschmidt's turn. He was 0 for 5 last night. He struck out 3 times against John Gray on that disappearing slider away. And Chatty's fastball. That one cut. That's the thing. It's why he throws a high pitch count and walks some. That fastball dives and darts, and sometimes I'm not sure he knows what it's going to do. Tough guy to catch. Tony Walters, he stole a strike right there. Just he works ground up, man. He's unbelievable with his hands. That's a ball.
But Tony sells it like he does every start, and every time out there he probably gets 5 to 7 a ball game.
Interesting. Tony wants shakes here, not with 2 strikes. You see it so frequently with 2 strikes. With Goldschmidt, even in a 1-1 count.
After the night that he had last night with the punch outs. It's just the 10th pitcher John Gray was to Kate Goldie 3 times, and he was not picking up that slider. Every single strikeout was the same to Goldie from John Gray. I had a chance to talk to John today about that performance, and you know, he was happy the team won first and foremost, but he said that slider felt really good coming out of his hand last night. He didn't try to overthink it. If he threw a bad pitch, he kind of took a step back and regathered himself.
Well, on 5 pitches, he walks Goldschmidt. So with 1 out, Goldschmidt, who can run, is going to first, and here comes Jake Lamb. Southwest batting order for Torey Lovullo. After Lamb, Chris Owings, who had 2 home runs last night. He's got 11 this year. His previous career best was 6. Brandon Drury, Ray Fuentes batting 7th, and Jeff Mathis and Greinke. And that runs off the plate. Tyler's a mentally tough guy. Let's talk about his mentality on the mound and his toughness and kind of his chip on the shoulder, and I mean that in the most positive of ways. You do wonder, though, if you start spraying the fastball back-to-back outings, if it creeps into your psyche. I mean, you would think it'd have to.
I mean, it's a natural tendency for any athlete for that to happen, but you've got to try to overcome that. And I'm not saying that's what he has, but it does go through an athlete's mind.
Double play ball. Fuentes glove flip on the first, double play in the inning. Daniel Descalso with a triple, and he comes around on an RBI ground out. So we'll go to the second with Arizona out in front 1-0. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Beautiful sunset, which helps erase the image of Dougie in that pool.
Ooh, that's going to take more than a pretty sunset.
Yeah. Certain images you hope to erase from your memory bank quickly. Here's Mark Reynolds, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Mark Reynolds, 19 home runs this year. He has 4 career home runs in 30 at-bats against Greinke. Dougie has changed. Bathing suit off. Did you finish that novel on baseball? The Elias novel?
The Book of Records.
The Book of Records. At the knees on the outside corner. Well located. It's 1-2. As you said a moment ago, with surgical accuracy, he delivers the baseball.
That's what made him so successful his whole career.
Holly, I'm with you. Those socks are cool.
I like them a lot. And again, just like what they did at Father's Day and Mother's Day, that they're doing it for a long period of time. It's just not July 4th. We can honor this great country for many, many days, and they'll do it for Memorial Day too. Can't forget about that when they had them on.
Good job reaching down and fouling that pitch off. Yeah, so I would assume, obviously, the players will wear the special unis tomorrow and on Monday and Tuesday. Right?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's be 4 days. That's great. 2-2. Mark's upset because he saw that. Felt like he was on it, and he fouls it into the glove of Jeff Mathis. Second strikeout.
Number 27.
118 strikeouts on the season for Greinke on the Subaru Supermo. I think Mark swung underneath that. Might have compensated too much, and that's where breaking pitches, people talk about tough pitches to hit. Well, curveballs, because you're going to where the ball is breaking to, and Mark swung underneath that curveball.
Now here's that wild card factor. Trevor Story, you know the history with Zach Greinke. And a broken bat bouncer to Lamb. Two gone. That'll bring up Alexi Amarista. It also tells us, takes us to the time we tell you, I should say, that if the Rockies score 7 in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and receive your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. So here's Amarista. And Alexi, if you remember earlier this year, hit a bomb against Greinke.
That was way back in April to left field. He didn't have just sneaky pole pop, he had sneaky oppo pop this game, and that was as a pinch hitter.
Seven for 28 with that home run against Greinke, and this ball's hit pretty well to center field, but it is at Ray Fuentes. So the Rockies 3 up to 3 down in each of the first 2 innings. 9 pitches in the first, 9 pitches in the second for Greinke. 1-0.
Head to the bottom of the second. Tyler Chatwood issued a walk to Paul Goldschmidt in the first inning. That now means in 17 starts, he has issued at least 1 or more walks per game. In fact, in 11 of his previous 16 starts, he's issued 3 or more, with his career high coming 8 walks issued in his last start. The walks have been a problem, but Bud Black has seen a lot of positives.
Because his stuff is so good, he doesn't give up a lot of hits. So it's better, because I think on a given night he's not going to give up a bunch of hits. And this, even the Dodger game where it got a little ugly, he pitched into the fourth. They only got 3 hits, but 8 walks. I mean, that's you can't do that in a big league game, and he knows that. But if he's throwing strikes, and I'm talking about throwing strikes over 100 pitches, which is 60+%. He's gonna have a good game, because I don't think he's gonna give up a lot of hits.
And he's throwing strikes right now, getting Chris Owens to strike out there to start the bottom of the second. I talked with pitching coach Steve Foster. He also said 3 things come to mind that affect walks: pitch selection, effort, and how you control that effort, and then delivery. He even added a 4th for Tyler Chatwood, and that's his emotion. And he said those are the 4 elements they've really been focusing on, and he's seen a lot of improvement for Chatty. Things we have to remember with Chatty, guys, he's still young. Yes, he's the veteran on this squad right now, but he's still a really young pitcher. And another great point that we often bring up, he's coming off 2 Tommy John surgeries. He's the only major league pitcher right now, a starting pitcher I should say, that has had 2 Tommy John surgeries. So that can affect your delivery in a lot of different ways, but he's working each and every day to work on those walks.
Well, it comes and goes with him, Jenny, and right now, to your point, 5 straight strikes to begin the inning. He quickly dispatched of Chris Owens. He's ahead of Brandon Drury, 0-2. I love how I always come back to this. I just love watching him compete. And you know me, you've heard me say this a million times. I'll take 25 guys with that chip on their shoulder over 25 pretty guys every day of the week.
Well, and also somebody you try to have to rein in. And I think at times, Tyler, you have to rein him in because he is so mentally amped up when he's out there. And sometimes trying harder is not better as a pitcher. Try easier, because to Jenny's point from a moment ago, his slider, guys, opponents are hitting 113, curveball they're hitting 065, and his changeup hitting 231.
The stuff is there,
right?
And to Bud's point, if he's in the strike zone, he's going to be really tough to hit.
But because of the walks, the WHIP is 1.37.
He had a great month of June from an ERA standpoint. He's 2-1 ERA standpoint. Mid-2 ERA in June.
Well, you take out that last start against the Dodgers. The previous 4 starts, he was 2-0 with the 173. In 26 innings, he had 22 strikeouts, only 8 walks.
Trying to get Drury to bite on that curveball. It's 3-2 now.
But I wouldn't necessarily feed him a fastball. I like the slider action that Tyler has shown tonight.
They're going to go away with a heater, and they got him, again, mislocation by a bunch, but the stuff's so good at 96 that he earned his 2nd strikeout. 2 outs, nobody on for Ray Fuentes. We haven't checked the Rockies with the gloves. We'll do so right now. Amarista, so versatile. Alexi is at second base tonight. Tapia is in right. Blackman and Mike Tauchman with him. And on the corners, it's Reynolds and Arenado. Story is at shortstop, and Tony Walters, who watched Ryan Hannigan catch last night, has the gear on tonight. Boy, Ryan did a terrific job with the entire staff last night. John Gray for 6 innings, and then a number of guys in the bullpen. That's a beautiful curveball.
One for Ryan. It wasn't all about the strikes and the way he stole a couple. It was more about, I thought, the pitch selection, the tempo he got in with the pitchers. You just saw very, very few shakeoffs last night.
0-2 on Fuentes. Sliders inside. Fuentes, after a slow start after being called up, 17 for his last 43. Looked like a changeup.
The velocity it was. Both his changeup and slider in the high 80s. It's only the curveball that's down into the 70s.
And the curveball misses there. So now it's 3-2 on Fuentes, who is a 26-year-old from Orlando, Florida. It's Jeff Mathis, 2 outs, 3-2 count. Talking to Dave Magadan for a while tonight, the hitting coach for Arizona, and he said Chatwood is so tough because he has so many good pitches, and now the fastball, which comes out of a short arm angle, is 96, 97.
And it's also from somebody that's not 6'4", 6'5". So the short arm action, the window's a little smaller, a little shorter, and then he has this above average mix of pitches.
3-2, and Tony thought he had strike 3. Mike Estabrook looked away, so that's a walk with 2 outs.
And then according to the Subaru strike zone, it was down. I don't know if Mike's giving Tony a talking to as he cleans off the plate. Tried to pull it up. Fuentes was not buying it. Chatty thought he had it. He was 2 strides off the mound.
So Jeff Mathis, the former Angel and Marlin, is at the plate. Mike Estabrook behind the dish, Marvin Hudson at first, Tom Woodrings at second, Jerry Lane is at third base. 1-0 Arizona.
Fuentes at first has a little bit of speed.
They have him.
He was leaning.
He was leaning.
He took a half a step going towards second base, and then was able to get the feet back down on the ground and dive back into the backside of the bag. Tyler has 3 pickoffs this year.
On the ground, right back to Chatty. Fields his position well. In the inning, 2 strikeouts, a walk, and we'll go to the third. Tauchman will lead it off, 1-0 Arizona. Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. Here's Buddy Black, and here's our Cold Hard Fact tonight. Last night on Bud Black's 60th birthday, the Rockies snapped their 8-game losing streak, as you know. In the last 40 years, the only other time a manager's team snapped a losing streak of at least 8 games on his birthday was in 2008 when the Padres beat the Rockies at Coors Field. The Padres manager, of course, then was none other than Buddy Black. He was celebrating his 51st birthday that day. Well, you know who they have to get a birthday win for today?
Chuck Nasty.
That's right, Charlie Blackmon, 31 today. Happy birthday, Charlie. First pitch to Mike Tauchman is in there for a strike. One and one. He's talking to Mike before the game, and he said if you had those moments where you looked out there and said, wow, that's Paul Goldschmidt, or and he said, you know what's helped is spring training. The last couple of years playing in big league spring training games and playing against those guys. And he said the other thing, he said now that I've played a couple of games, he said, for instance, I had a take the other day that I felt really good about at the plate, and I was like, okay, you know what, this is baseball. It's the same thing I've been doing for years.
Small victories like that, and guys will say that, and there are certain times during the course of a game or in a bat where you feel that way, but there's other times you also have to pinch yourself because you got that feeling sometimes is I'm overwhelmed. I'm in the big leagues.
This is bounce toward Lamb. Tauchman can run a little bit and safe. He got himself a leg hit.
I'm sure they'll hold on for a moment as they check the video on this, but I think it shows you some of the speed of Tauchman. Jake Lamb really didn't come and get this. He waited back on this high chopper as they're going to go ahead and go and say it is a hit. The Subaru Supermo, he pulls it out of the glove, fine, everything's good. He just waited back on it, and Mike beat it out.
First base runner for the Rockies.
Look at him get it. Hey! You hear guys in the dugout and on the bench yelling safe.
Tauchman's in left field tonight, primarily in the minor leagues, a center fielder. Told you yesterday when he pinch hit, really good high school football player, had opportunities to play both sports at the collegiate level. Good defender.
Versatile. That's the name of baseball now. Versatility.
Yep.
It used to be if you were versatile, you really didn't have a position to play. It was a
kind way of saying you don't have a position.
Yeah, you're a jack of all trades but master of none.
Right.
But now versatile guys are so useful to a club.
Coveted, especially in the National League. This guy's versatile. Go stick him in the middle of the infield if you're in an extra inning game and crazy stuff going on. Tony, look at that. He's versatile. He can coach first, managed before, and then he's still got the soft hands to field ground balls that come in his direction.
He knew it wasn't hit very hard, so he wasn't going to embarrass himself. He could field that one. Relaying the signs, or the times, excuse me, to Mike.
(2-0) or 0-2, I should say. 1-2. Tony's had some big hits this year.
Base runners are 3 for 6 dealing off of Greinke in 2017.
Kind of surprises me, to be honest with you. He does everything so well. Fields his position, hits, athletic, changes times to the plate, outside. Greinke 3 career games at Chase Field against the Rockies, an ERA of 6.35, including 6 home runs allowed.
Some of that was opening day last year against the Rockies. It's been a different pitcher in 2017 at Chase than he was in 2016.
Yeah, not even close. Last year 5-5, a 4.81 ERA at home. On his way to a 13-7 mark last year. I think some people felt like, man, it was a disaster for Greinke. It wasn't a disaster. It just was nowhere near how he had performed in the recent past with the Dodgers. 19-3 in 2015. Really one of the great seasons pitching-wise that we've seen in the last 50 years. He had an ERA of 1.66 that year. Didn't win the Cy Young because Arrieta was crazy good.
He's won 2 ERA titles in his career. 1
in each league. 15 with the Dodgers, 09 with the Royals when he won the Cy Young. And that's a good job of fouling on pitch off. Now here's a comparison at Chase Field for Greinke 2016 to 2017. Shaved more than 2 runs off his ERA. 72 points off the batting average against. And look at the strikeouts per night. I mean, everything's not just subtly different. I mean, dramatically different.
And he went to some of the analytics, and that's what he said was I throwing just as well in 2016? What was going on? And he came to realize, oh, nice jump by Mike.
Great read.
I'll finish that story in a moment because I want to watch this jump on the secondary, and it all comes down to as a base runner anticipating a ball down in the dirt. So the ball bounces and then goes off of Mathis, but Togman doesn't hesitate, puts his head down, and that put the pressure on Mathis to come up and field the ball, and he missed it. He didn't pick it up with the bare hand, and then you get the free 90.
Boy, how big is that? Let's see if Tony can move him along another 90 feet. At the very least, 3-2. Well, that's what the great ones do. They need a strikeout. They seem to always be able to get one.
And I was talking about the analytics a moment ago before that wild pitch was Zach Greinke and how he studied to see what he did wrong and right last year here at Chase Field, and he said the pitches are the same. He goes, I wasn't locating. That's the biggest difference. He goes, I needed to make sure that I threw some of my breaking pitches more than I was also doing.
He's always been a cerebral guy, a studious guy. Typically pretty quiet. He overcame an anxiety disorder a number of years ago when he was in the Royals organization. And Chatwood swings and misses on a slider. You know, I think there are a lot of guys that deal with that type of issue, especially in baseball at different times. Remember Tyler Green went through it. Or not Tyler Green, Khalil Green, I should say. And this is on the ground slowly, and Lamb will throw to first, Tauchman to third, and now Blackman will come up. Join in on the conversation tonight with your statements, your thoughts. Many of you already have. Use Twitter or Instagram, and you must include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Otherwise, it's just superfluous information out there in cyberspace. Maybe it's great information, but it's out there in cyberspace.
So hashtag Toyota Talk.
There you go. Charlie couldn't hold up, trying to check swing his first time. Charlie Blackman, what a marvelous athlete. Here he is as a wee lad. No matter what he's done and where he goes, he's still just a kid from Georgia. Happy birthday. Happy 31st, Chuck. There he was doing Taekwondo, I think.
Well, then you got the shoulder pads that are bigger than he is.
Yeah. Looks the part there.
No, but
little
isn't
soccer
that
on the left, little hoops.
The basketball, isn't that just straight out of the 1950s or 60s? The perfect form with the hands around the basketball,
Yeah.
nice chest pass, a la Bob Cousy.
It's off the John Wooden video. Didn't have the beard then.
No.
I noticed. Blackman has hit a birthday home run. Do you know that?
I did know that. I saw that. So he's preparing for the game tonight.
2-1. And that is fair. Well, the Rockies got a hit. Tauchman got as far as third. The Rockies couldn't get another hit to bring them home. Middle of 3. It's 1-0 Arizona. Here's our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question of the night. Go to @RootSports_RM to cast your vote. We'll see the results in the post-game show. What's your favorite pool accessory? A raft, a beach ball, an umbrella drink, or a snorkel? I'm thinking C is going to be real popular with our audience.
That's my choice.
Mine is E. I don't care about the umbrella. Cold beer. Love poolside with you guys. Do you get paid more for being in the pool? And you know what? That is a line shot. Did he? I thought he was going to catch that with his bare hand. Hold on, Diane. We'll get to your question in a moment. Look at this play by Chatwood. It's a juggling act.
It goes off the glove, rips the glove off of his hand. Line drive, that throws the glove up in the air. Tries to snag it with his left hand, still has the smarts to go back and pick it up to throw out Zach Greinke. Got it, got it. No, I don't, no, I don't. But I got you now with the throw to first.
Pretty wild play. So here's Descalso. He tripled on the second pitch of the game and then would score one pitch later on an RBI ground out by David Peralta. He takes strike one. All right, Diane wanted to know if Dougie gets paid more, if I understand that question right, for being in the pool. And I responded to her. I said, we could barely afford Dougie right now. I mean, start getting paid more just because he's
well, he's like one of those
stuntman now.
He's like one of those high-priced actors. If you use their, their face on TV, you've got to be able to pay him more. And so Dougie being on the pool, his rate doubled tonight.
Remember the other day we put a mic on him?
That was
a big mistake.
That was horrible.
That's strike 3 on the outside corner. Descalso sees 3 pitches, and he's got to go back to the dugout. 2 outs. This is Doug floating.
Oh my goodness!
It's good thing he went to swim lessons this morning so he could actually participate in our shoot this afternoon. Nicely done.
Now we know who came up with the idea to go out to the pool.
Ryan Lochte has nothing on you. This is going to be a tough chance. Glove flip, well done by Amarista. That's a 6-pitch inning. We had a juggling act, then we had a glove flip. That was fun to watch. Lexi Amarista. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why TravelWyoming.com. And by UC Health, live extraordinary. Did we tell you it was 109 outside?
Well, it was 111 earlier, so it's
cooled off.
Cooled off tonight.
A 13-miler you and I ran earlier today was, I mean, we had to pick up the pace with the weather being as it was. A little more grueling than normal. Raimel Tapia flirted with a home run his first time up. Hit one to deep right center field. It was tracked down near the wall by David Peralta. Now he shows bunt, takes a strike. Tapia batting second, then Nolan Arenado and Mark Reynolds. Rockies down 1-0. Looks like Chatwood's found his groove. Rockies have just 1 hit so far against Greinke. It was an infield hit.
You had an idea that that's what it was going to come down to tonight, a pitcher's duel. Greinke 7-0 at Chase Field. He's 9-4 on the season. The 9 wins are tied for second in the National League. Antonio Senzatella has the 9 wins, but Clayton Kershaw is the guy that's leading with 12 victories. ERA is 8th in the National League.
Well, Kershaw went 5-0 in the month of June. Tapia, remember he began 0 for 15. He's hitting .370 since then. And this ball is pulled hard, but just foul.
51st major league game for Raimel. It's 68 at bats this year.
Talking to Jeff Salazar about him, he said this kid loves to compete, loves the challenge tonight of facing Greinke.
And his home run last night, his first major leaguer off the left-hander Robbie Ray, who had come into last night's game allowing 0 home runs to lefties. And Charlie took him deep in the first, and then top in the 6th.
Got around the bases in like 8.5 seconds too. 2-2. And this is on the ground to Goldschmidt.
Well, fans, MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for more details.
One out. Nolan, who hit a hard one-hopper right at Brandon Drury, will have his second look this evening at Greinke. Zach Greinke, when he came out of high school, had signed a national letter of intent to play baseball at Clemson, but it never got to that point. He was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. First round pick.
Like a lot of guys, he was a shortstop before becoming a pitcher.
He really didn't start pitching till his senior year of high school. That ball's left up, but working underneath, it's Arenado. An easy play out there for Fuentes. 2 outs. That would be classified as a mistake. We always talk about mistake pitches, right? That pitch was a mistake from an execution standpoint from Greinke, and he lives to tell about it.
You don't have that very often when the guy that just missed that mistake was Nolan. But Zach Greinke tonight 11 for 12 on first pitch strikes.
He also has retired the leadoff man in 3 out of 4 innings. He's #1 in the National League in retiring leadoff men. About 83% of the time.
Are there any better cleats in baseball going right now?
Not this weekend.
Those are the bomb. Those are awesome.
Reynolds struck out on a curveball his first time up.
You saw that home run, I know, during batting practice that Mark hit that landed just shy of the Friday's Front Row Sports Grill. I mean, that was a showstopper during batting practice. Everybody went ooh and ah.
He can do that.
There it is. I mean, there were fans up there enjoying maybe a nice salad, cup of tortilla soup, and Andy L incoming.
You better pay attention when he's taking BP. It's like they started taking batting practice when we were taping our open out at the pool.
We were concerned with that.
Yeah, Peralta's standing in the batter's box. It's the first 3-ball count for Greinke tonight. 3-2 on Reynolds. Reynolds, one of the top averages against righties in baseball this year. Not this time. Greinke has executed every big pitch in this ball game. He's allowed just 1 base runner through 4. 1-0, middle of 4.
The Diamondbacks, we go to the bottom of the fourth. July off to a very great start for Chad Bettis. Earlier today, he threw a 45-pitch side session, a bullpen, in front of pitching coaches Darren Holmes and Steve Foster. And I talked to Steve Foster. He said it's emotional to watch this guy pitch. You never get emotional during a guy's side, but to watch Chad Bettis start to make his return, it's just such a joy for them to watch. He said he'll take a couple days of rest, and on July 4th, back at home, he'll throw another 45-pitch side, and then it's time for live BP. He's going to throw that before All-Star break, hopefully one more after, and then it's time for a rehab assignment. So Chad, I asked him how it went today. He was grinning ear to ear. He was so excited to just check off that box in the process, and 3 more steps before that rehab, guys.
Yeah, he's coming pretty quickly. I mean, you can imagine within a month him being back on a big league mound. It is a marvelous story. That pitch outside to Goldschmidt. It's 2-1.
It's just remarkable. Well, first of all, the advances in science, but then after to go through what he did, to come back physically still able to do the things, man, it is emotional.
You don't see Goldschmidt do that much. We saw it 3 times last night, and he just did on a vicious breaking ball from Chatwood. 2-2. You want to get this guy.
Throw it again then.
Well, that's interesting because Tony's flashing multiple signs right now with nobody on base. Why is that? That is fair. And in the corner, Tapia has a problem with it, and it's going to end up a triple. That reminded me a little bit of the triple last night for Arenado because Goldschmidt, I don't think, realized the ball was fair.
Yeah, I talked to Nolan about that today. He goes, I thought it was going to slide foul. It had some spin on it. And then when the ball gets over into this corner, you have to put your foot over by the wall to stop it. And Goldschmidt, oh, I better run. It's a triple all the way for Paul. And to get back to your question a moment ago, Drew, when you're asking, maybe they just think that somehow looking at signs or coming in, they want to be able to flash multiple signs. But Tapia going to the corner, and what I said, along this wall, you got to get over there. Oh, he just whiffed on it, went in between his legs. I thought he didn't have his foot over there, but he did. He just didn't get down. And sometimes that's where you have to go ahead and drop down to a knee to keep that from going to the wall.
Chatwood gets ahead of Lamb 0-1. Infield's halfway.
The way Greinke's pitching, you gotta.
Good hold by Reynolds.
Great play because that was his only option. Tyler didn't break over to first. Tyler got caught watching this play. So when Mark goes to the backhand, you say, watch Tyler. He doesn't get over. He starts to go home. But then Paul, with nobody out, doesn't want to run into the out, kind of fakes and bluffs that he's going to go. Mark gets the out at first base.
Now you'll come in all the way with 1 out. Owings at the plate. And he pulls it down the line fair. And that'll be a double for Owings. 2-0 Arizona.
Aggressive by Chris Owings.
You know, game of inches, couple of feet.
And if you get it
to the left, or to the right, I should say, then you're talking about a ball right at Nolan.
Subaru Supermo, the slider backs up on Tyler, 92 miles an hour, and sneaks it just inside the bag at third base. 47th RBI of the season for Chris Owings.
He's had a huge year.
But that's what you get when you have some guys, you know, your team's winning. You'll have guys have big years. Chris Owings on pace right now for close to 85, 90 RBIs.
He's hitting 16 out of 17. The 2-home run game last night was the second of his career. The first happened on April 27th against the Padres. So it's been a breakout year for Owings. And in a conversation with Dave Magadan, this ball is bounced to Amarista, 2 outs. He was saying that Owings has a ton of pop. He said he's one of just a couple of guys on the Diamondbacks. When you watch his BP, it sounds different. But remember he had that shoulder injury a year ago?
Yes.
It took him about 12 months fully to recover, and they noticed a difference in spring training this year. And though he's not a big guy, his BP is really impressive. They say he and Yasmani Tomas, believe it or not, put on the biggest show in BP.
Well, that's why he was a high draft pick. They saw some of that bad speed.
Ray Fuentes, and this is going to cost the Rockies another run. Man, oh man, has the wild pitch hurt the Rockies the last week and a half. Well, now you're behind 3-0 to a guy that is very difficult, as you know, to score against.
It helped you last night with the wild pitch late in the game. In the 8th inning, and then nothing Tony could do. I mean, this was hard off the plate and then skips back to the backstop.
Now the Rockies have the 4th most wild pitches in the National League. Depends when they come. You know how costly they were last Sunday at Dodger Stadium. Never seen anything like that. 5 runs in a row scored on wild pitches. And now tonight, with a chance to get out of this inning, having given up only 1 run. 2 end up scoring. Chatwood looks off in disgust as he strikes out Fuentes. The Rockies with work to do on offense as we go to the 5th, down 3-zip. Brought to you by T-Mobile. The Rockies have had a winning record in April, May, and June this season. They finished June at 15-12. It's only the 3rd time in team history they've had winning records in 3 consecutive months, and the first time it's ever been April, May, June. The other times it occurred, 07, 09, 5 straight in 07, 4 straight in 09. What do those 2 seasons have in common?
Let me think about it. Playoffs?
Playoffs. World Series in 07. Trevor Story to lead off for Buddy Black here at the top of the 5th. The Rockies have 1 base runner with Tauchman in the 3rd, a leadoff infield hit. He got as far as 3rd. Curveball and a good one for a strike. Well, Buddy Black, as we celebrate the 4th of July weekend, Buddy's dad from Canada, and you know it's Canada Day today. 150th anniversary of our friends to the north. Country that has 10 provinces and 3 territories.
And 1 major league team.
And a former major league team that you began your career with.
Yes. Les Expos of Montreal.
I mean, how big was Jeff Houston back in the day on St. Catherine Street?
We won't go there.
That big, huh?
That big. It was a fun place to play. I mean, what a country in a city. You've been there. You know what it's like.
Love Montreal. Love Toronto. 2 great cities. Love Vancouver. And that's strike 3 on Story. Strikeout number 5 for Zach Greinke. There's a little bit more on the Rockies' success the first 3 months of this season. In April, their win percentage was 5th best in baseball, 4th all-time for the Rockies in the month of April. May, their 3rd best May ever, and this June, even with the 8-game losing streak at the end, it was tied for the 3rd best June the Rockies have ever had. We're off to a 1-0. Actually, let me correct that, because yesterday was June 30th. They hope to get off to a 1-0 start today.
Oh, you were just forward thinking.
Yep.
That's all you're doing.
That's right. You know, he was at the Toronto game today. The Red Sox beat up the Jays at Rogers Center. Don Cherry was there.
What spectacular suit did he have on today?
I don't know. According to Doug, he looked like a candy cane. That's about right for Don Cherry. 2 strikes on Amarista.
If you're going to look at the definition of efficient in the dictionary, you'd see Zach Greinke right now. 57 pitches, 41 for strikes.
He's worked effectively up and down in the zone, and obviously east and west. Talk frequently about working on the edges of the plate, but he's worked effectively at times outside the zone up, and nobody gets more guys to chase in the National League than this guy, Zach Greinke. They're saying he went. You end up on your back.
Help.
I mean, that was not Jerry Lane at third base, his decision.
No.
That was Mike Estabrook. He said he swung.
Well, he might have started his swing, and where he ended up.
I don't know how you call that a swing.
Well, and that's
see this angle.
Yeah, I mean, the barrel went around, but
it's tough.
It's a tough call, but it goes back to, and I've said it, I heard Spilly say it, ask for help, because you can't see the ball coming in, you can't see the swing, you can't see all of that. That's why you have guys on the umpires on the corner.
Change up misses. It's 1-1 on Tauchman. He's the only guy to reach for the Rockies. He had a big chopper to third. Lamb fielded it cleanly, threw across, but Tauchman, who runs pretty well, beat it. And this one out in front of the plate. And a good play by the catcher, Jeff Mathis. It's another 1-2-3 inning. Rockies having trouble making hard contact against Greinke. 3-0 Arizona. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Game 2 of a 3-game set down here at Chase Field in Phoenix, and the Rockies trail 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th with Jeff Hewson and Jenny Cavnar and Doug Marino, the Olympic swimmer. First pitch swinging, and Jeff Mathis hits it foul. 0-1.
Nolan just fired that ball into the stands to somebody that was standing up, hit him right in the chest. Just he caught the ball, but that's just accuracy. Even throwing baseballs up into the stands.
Hit the guy in the chest?
No, I mean like right in the chest area. The guy caught it. No, it wasn't like it just zipped him right there.
Just checking. Fireworks after the ball game tonight. We will not televise those,
but they do open the roof.
That's smart. Highly advisable. Last night a crowd of more than 23,000. Arizona is drawing better. Their television ratings naturally are up. But it's not Rockies territory or even close in terms of the number of fans that are coming through the turnstiles. And I don't know if it's the heat. The Diamondbacks have battled that through the years, getting consistently large crowds. The Suns, the Coyotes, same deal. And I know it's been a while since any of those 3 franchises have had postseason opportunities. They're 17 straight campaigns if you combine those 3 teams without going to the playoffs. Here's a chase pitch, and Chatwood has struck out Mathis.
I think it's a little bit too like Florida, where you have some transplants.
Yeah, but I mean, Phoenix has a big population. And
they do. Maybe they just don't want to leave their house in the middle of the summer when it's so hot. Getting in your car.
I mean, you're native.
Yeah.
Down
well, that's why I moved to Colorado.
Right.
After going to school in Wyoming, I said, I'm not going back to that heat.
Zach Greinke hit a hard comebacker his first time up, and Chatwood made a terrific play. It was almost one of those plays where you'd see the highlight from now to eternity. Line drive that he knocked down with his glove, popped up in the air. He almost barehanded it.
Scorcher off the bat of Greinke. Goes off the glove, knocks the glove off, tries to catch it, and picks it up, gets the out.
1-2. Greinke is a great golfer. Tyler Chatwood's a really good golfer. Chatty's about a 5 handicap. What do they have? Greinke's around scratch.
Yeah, what do they have all in common?
They're starting pitchers.
There you go.
So you're intimating they have nothing to do the other 4 days.
No, I'm just saying.
2-2.
Heard about Smoltz and Maddox and their epic battles. Kyle Freeland's a great golfer.
Yep.
I know Mark Reynolds is a pretty good golfer too. I've seen him hit the ball a long way.
Well, there's a base hit for Greinke with 1 out. Just the 4th hit allowed by Chatwood. Descalso a triple and a strikeout. Chizzy wants to know what is Dougie's favorite pool accessory. Usually a floaty.
The arm ones. The floaties over the arm.
You did have the arm floaties, right? But you had to give those to Elizabeth. She's taking them from you now. Dora the Explorer floaties. I've seen them. It's not lying.
Now your 3-year-old has them, right? You share it? Got it.
She lifeguards for her.
Oh my goodness.
Nice backstroke, Dougie. A true athlete. Yeah. Glad you used all capital letters there.
Oh boy. You know what we've created, right?
Reynolds. Are they going to turn that? 2 outs. Fortunately, that ball didn't go out of play. Descalso will trade places with Greinke.
Well, such a high chopper. And with Descalso hitting from the left side, kind of wait for it to come back down. You fire to second. So he jumps up on the Subaru Supermo, gets a good throw off to Trevor, and then a high relay throw going back. But you're right, Drew. He's pretty fortunate that that went off the railing in front, in that mesh area in the front of the dugout, not allowing Descalso to advance.
2 outs, David Peralta. And Peralta with a base hit to center, and Descalso is going to go first to third. And here's Peralta trying to make this a double, and he will.
Remember last night I talked about the grass here and what happens when it gets into midsummer time. It starts to really go dormant, but it's also very, very thin. So it's a quick field now. And Charlie has to go over to the right center field gap, and this ball does not slow down at all. So he's got to make sure he gets an angle deep enough to cut it off. David Peralta running pretty hard out of the box, thinking 2 the whole way. It sneaks in there. 15th double on the season for David.
Goldschmidt going to pitch up, and he fouled it back. Goldschmidt today, a walk, and then he poked a triple down the right field line and scored last inning. He leads the big leagues with a .432 average with runners in scoring position.
And if I'm Paul, I'm taking the curveball out of the equation from Tyler, because he spiked that one that was a wild pitch earlier. So I'm thinking it's going to be a fastball slider mix in my at bat.
.97 with that fastball from Chatwood. We were just talking about that .432 average, best not only in the National League but in baseball. Daniel Murphy back-to-back, really back-to-back-to-back extraordinary years. He did it in the playoffs with the Mets 2 years ago, and then Mets didn't re-sign him. He signed with Washington, and he's tormented not only the Mets but the entire league since putting on that Nationals uniform. 2 strikes on Paul Goldschmidt. Twice in 13 and 15 he finished second in the MVP voting. Oh, just got enough of that.
And Tony almost caught that. Better look on the Subaru Supermo. Goes to the slider where they had so much success last year. And oh, that went off his leg and then up into his shoulder.
Got him right in the thigh.
Go, I'd throw that slider again.
Fastball, and it's punched to first. Good job by Chatwood. 2 men left in scoring position. The Rockies, as we go to the 6th, down 3-0 in Arizona.
of the 6th. Rockies need some hits, and perhaps with Charlie Blackmon due up 3rd, they will get that. Charlie's the birthday boy, turning 31 today, so I asked some of his teammates, what would you buy Charlie for his birthday?
Car wash. Some sort of beard product. I don't know. He's a man of mystery, so I don't know. He's tough.
Probably a fishing license. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
He likes fishing. Catches a bunch of fish all the time in the off days, so I'd get him a fishing license.
I would get him a new vehicle. Yeah, he needs one. He's been driving around in that old thing for a while now. I think he needs to upgrade a little bit.
So I asked you if he was going to buy him that vehicle, and he said, no, I'll make one of the players buy it, of course. It's pretty fun to go around. Charlie's a pretty predictable man. I guess it's all about the fishing, the beard, and clearly, guys, he's still driving around his car from high school. Looks like at 31, it might be time to turn that baby in.
That's what you got to love about Charlie. And that's legitimate. He still drives that same Jeep Cherokee he's had forever. Charlie's true to himself. Doesn't matter how much money he makes.
But it does stick out a little bit like a sore thumb in the players' parking lot.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
he's good with
okay.
that.
That's Charlie.
1-2, and that just missed. I mean, Greinke has been spot on tonight.
It's like he has that baseball on a yo-yo string, because he'll throw it out there and kind of move it to a certain spot, and then that's where it ends up.
And this is right at the shortstop Owings. Greinke has a one-hitter going. That was an infield hit. I'm looking at my scorebook, Huey, and the only ball that was hit hard, 2 balls in the first inning. Raimel Tapia, a ball to the wall in right center field, and Nolan hit a hard one hopper, but it was right at Brandon Drury.
Greinke has 7 ground ball outs, 3 fly outs, 6 Ks.
1 3-ball count. And another mishit baseball. Goldschmidt grabs it, 2 outs. Well, Charlie Blackmon in 2011 hit a birthday home run. It was his first career home run. How about that?
Here's the guy wearing number 8. No beard.
Couldn't grow one then. So that got Dougie wondering who's hit the most home runs on their birthday in the history of the big leagues. There's a Rocky on that list.
Helton.
Todd Helton hit 5 birthday home runs. Al Simmons, Alex Rodriguez, and Derek Lee also hit 5 home runs on their birthday. Those 4 guys, the most birthday home runs in Major League history. There were a couple of players, 3 players actually, to hit 2 for the Rockies on their birthday. Brad Hopp did it. Big Cat, Andres Galarraga did it. And last year, Steven Cardullo on his birthday went deep twice.
That's right.
Other guys that have hit a birthday home run, 3-0 on the birthday boy Charlie. In Rockies history, some interesting names on this. That's a strike, 3-1. Greg Vaughn. Boy, Greg had a great career. Former Denver Zephyr. Ian Stewart. Mark Reynolds. Nafi Perez. Kurt Manwaring. And Todd Hollinsworth, who's now in broadcasting. That's, wow, that's a called strike. That was
not a strike according to the Subaru strike zone. That ball is down, but when you're around the zone, we say it all the time, you're going to get some borderline pitches.
Yeah. Todd Hollinsworth doing television with the Miami Marlins.
Well, Corey Sullivan likes to say that Helton hit those home runs on his birthday too.
Is that Sully's birthday?
That's, yeah, but it always
what a
gets
gift.
That's exactly right. So Todd didn't buy him any gifts. He just hit home runs for Sully.
Saved him money, huh? Crowd just announced 46,338. Second sellout of the year for the Diamondbacks. I remember, as you do, Huey, back in '07 in the playoffs when the Rockies took on the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. How much fun that was. This ball's in the air to center and right at Ray Fuentes. 12 in a row, set down now by Greinke. Chatwood has allowed 5 hits, but Zach Greinke has been almost perfect. Rockies' upcoming home schedule brought to you by our friends at Remax. On Monday, fireworks. Tuesday, fireworks with the Reds in town. Wednesday and Thursday, a day game, no television. Friday, the Rockies welcome in the Chicago White Sox. It's been a while since the Rockies have taken on the White Sox. Jake Lamb here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He takes 1-0. He's hitting on the ground twice, 0 for 2. Off the plate. Lamb has a little 6-game hitting streak going. On the inside corner for a strike. I got a little stat for you, Jeff Houston. Doug, you paying attention? See if Dougie was aware of this one. And this kind of surprised me. When the roof is open, which it is not tonight, was not last night, the Diamondbacks are 20-5. Played a bunch of April games and some in May with the roof open. Hadn't gotten oppressively hot yet. When the roof is closed, they're 9-7.
You know what they are when they start with the roof open and then they have to close it halfway during the game? You know what they are, Mr. Smarty Pants? They're 1-1.
They're 1-1. Lamb strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Tyler Chatwood. It's very nice there. Chris Owings coming up.
Hey, you want to catch the best fireworks show in town this summer, this Monday, courtesy of Lockheed Martin, and then on Tuesday, courtesy of Coca-Cola and King Soopers, following the game against the Cincinnati Reds.
The Diamondbacks have lost 3 straight games, all here at home. Last 2 against the Cardinals, last night against the Rockies, 6-3. They've not lost 4 straight all year. The Rockies were in that situation before the 8-game slide. And we showed you last night. A bad week or 2 happens to every team in baseball. We looked at the Cubs last year. They had a miserable stretch, losing 15 out of 20 before the All-Star break. 2 years ago, the Mets won the pennant, and they had a stretch where they lost 7 straight. This is on the ground from Owings to short. Story's got to limit it to 1 crow hop and get rid of the baseball. The guy
Perfect.
Like Owings.
Yeah, nice fielding from Trevor. He funneled it up to his chest, shuffled the feet, got the strong throw off. The problem that you have right now with the Rockies in that losing streak, the Dodgers, they haven't had one of those yet.
And they're up 4-0 tonight in the 5th inning against San Diego. It's really remarkable how well they have played. But even for the Dodgers, at some point in time, they're going to have a bad run.
They will.
It's the nature of the sport. I know right now it doesn't seem that way because every time we look up, the players look up, you have a situation where the Dodgers not only are winning, but they seem to be winning handily, and they seem to be doing it early in games.
And that's the key for them. Quick inning for Tyler. Strikeout, 2 groundouts. Now you need to wake up those bats.
Yeah, we've got to figure out a way to get to Greinke. 3-0 Diamondbacks. The benefit that the Cubs have is that their division is decidedly mediocre. I mean, the Pirates started the day 6 games below 500, and they're very much in the race in the Central with Milwaukee and St. Louis, and the Cubs, of course.
And Milwaukee going into the game are just 4 games over 500 at 43 and 39.
Tapia, Arenado, Reynolds, and hopefully others for the Rockies. 3rd time through against Greinke.
Well, the first time through the batting order against Zach, 172. Then it creeps up to 219 the second time through. The third time through, 272.
One-two on top of you. I don't think he's missed a location more than twice tonight. It's been remarkable.
This has been the guy that's been so consistent the last 7 seasons. Wanted to go up, and he elevated for effect on the Subaru Supermo.
Nolan has grounded out to second and worked underneath the baseball to center field. And there's a base hit. I think honestly tonight, unless for some unknown reason the wheels just fell off Greinke, which doesn't look like that's going to occur, get a little traffic and have somebody run into one. I mean, Greinke's given up some home runs.
He's given up 14.
Because it doesn't look like a night where you're going to go single, single, double, you know, that kind of thing. Not against Greinke. One out. Here's Reynolds. He has fanned twice against Reynolds. Or against Greinke, I should say.
Where you hope Mark can get on, and then a guy that has hit some home runs against him in Trevor Story on deck.
And that's on the outer edge, 0-2. And you said it a while ago that umpires get caught up.
They do.
When a guy is got the kind of command that Greinke has. 2 pitches off the plate. Curveball, and again it's a strikeout. 2 outs. That is number 8 tonight.
And third time for Mark. Well, the first 10,000 fans on Sunday, July 9th, will receive a military appreciation barbecue apron courtesy of the Colorado Beef Council.
Story a ground ball to third, and he was caught looking. He has hit 7 career home runs already at Chase Field. 1 for 3 last night for Story. Eight of his 10 home runs this year for Trevor have come against divisional foes. There's no sitting on one pitch.
Well, and for Zach Greinke, that's what he does. His fastball, the percentages break out like this, folks. Fastball 50%, slider 25%, changeup 15%, curveball 15%. I think there's been a few more of the off-speed pitches and a few less fastballs tonight from Zach, because guys aren't picking up any sort of spin. Let's see where this one
Story, you heard Story, he said you could read his lips, said that's down.
Right, and it's clearly down on the Subaru strike zone.
Yeah, that's
you know what? It's reminiscent of some of the pitches that Greg Maddux would get. He said, come on now, Mike, that's down. Too, as a hitter, it's so hard right now because he's got control. But I think you have to just spread out and just use your hands. It really can't even load on a pitch.
Two. Good eye. 3-2. Rockies lead the season series 6-4, 3-2. And this is hit in the air to fairly deep left field. This one's got carry. It's gone. And we've got a whole new ball game. Trevor Story makes it 3-2. He just one-handed that into the bullpen.
And on one knee. Talk about Trevor and his strength. Not happy with the third pitch. It was called a strike. He's 1-2. Battles back to 3-2. Gets a slider. Watch the back right knee. How he goes down. It ends up scraping the dirt.
He's badly fooled, but he was able to keep the barrel back long enough, and he is so strong that he hit it out.
But now,
4th career home run against Greinke.
And the 8th here for Trevor at Chase Field.
Now the Rockies dugout has life. 1 strike on Amarista. The other thing it does, it extends the inning, and you're at 93 pitches now with Greinke, where it seemed a moment or two ago like a foregone conclusion you're going to get him at least for 8.
Maybe a CG.
And this ball's pretty well hit to left, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. Descalso makes the catch. 2-run, 2-out, home run from Trevor Story. And the Rockies are within a run of Arizona. His 8th career home run at Chase Field. Until last inning, a base hit by Nolan, and then on a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs, Trevor Story gets Zach Greinke again. And he one-hands one into the Diamondback bullpen, and the Rockies are right there with Arizona. Bottom of the 7th inning, Tyler Chatwood, just 78 pitches. Chatwood has pitched well also. It's just you can't finish second in a battle of starting pitchers. And even though Chatty has pitched pretty well, obviously Greinke has been near flawless until that one swing of the bat. And I'm sure he's going to look back on that, Huey, and say, I made the pitch I wanted.
Exactly, but Trevor was just better with the swing to be able to hit it one-handed on the back knee, take it into the bullpen. But you do definitely now have some momentum on your side. And so for Tyler, have a quick 1, 2, 3 inning. And this is probably going to be it for him because he's due up third as we head into the 8th.
And he gets the bottom of the order right now. He gets the young, at least inexperienced, 26-year-old Ray Fuentes, who's a young player at the big league level. And then Jeff Mathis, who's hitting well beneath 200. And we'll see if it's Greinke, which I still presume it will be. I agree with you.
Well, he had a base hit earlier in this game. He's still at the 70, 80 pitches. Oh, that's right. He climbed up after that's what it was, but it's up to 94 now after some of those foul balls from last half inning.
1-0 on Fuentes, a walk and a strikeout. That's a good pitch. Chatty tonight has struck out 6 and walked 2. Much better command tonight than he had at Dodger Stadium. Gave up a run in the first when Descalso tripled on the second pitch, and then infield back. Peralta got a ball in play, grounded out to second. That was 1 run. And then Goldschmidt kind of poked a triple on the line in right field. And he would score on a double by Chris Owings. Owings moved to third on a ground ball and then scored on a wild pitch. That's the one run.
Yeah.
I mean, you want them all back, but you know what I mean. That's the one run where you go, man, they didn't earn that.
It's more of the gift variety.
That looked like it may have been at the top of the strike zone, but
yes, it was on the Subaru strike zone. Caught that outside top corner.
Well, we're in a 1-run game, and both of these teams have been probably the 2 best teams in baseball in 1-run games this year. Diamondbacks are 18-7. They played a bunch of them. The Rockies are 11-2 in 1-run affairs. 2-2 again.
Once you start to have some success in 1-run games, you start to feel like, okay, I'm confident playing in these games, but we're going to find a way to win. Not a whole lot of strategy right now for those 2 managers that we just showed, Torey Lovello and then Bud Black. Both pitchers doing their job.
Ground ball to short. Story with one hand. High throw. You could see that out of the hand. That'll be an error on Story. Mark Reynolds went as high as he could go. He didn't leap because I think if he leaps, he realizes that Fuentes is going to beat it. So he tried to stay on the bag, use the lift of the bag.
I think Trevor got caught in between on how he wanted to field this. Did he want to square up? And he ends up catching it and running away from first base on the Subaru Supermo. And you're right, Drew. If he jumps high, he's not going to be able to catch this and then come back down. And it will be Trevor's 6th error of the season.
Now Jeff Mathis. It is Greinke on deck.
Mike Dunn has just gotten up in the Rockies bullpen, made his first toss.
You always want to be prepared if you're a manager. Nobody manages a bullpen any better than Buddy Black. He wants done ready in case he wants to go to him with Descalso and Peralta. That doesn't necessarily mean he will. It will depend on the complexion of the next several pitches and the result of the next several hitters, or a couple of hitters with Mathis and Greinke.
And if you're Tyler, you're wanting that ground ball. Rockies have already turned a double play tonight.
There has not been an out in the air this evening against Chatwood.
Now 6 strikeouts, 12 ground ball outs.
It's been a Tyler Chatwood game. This ball's lifted to deep center though by Mathis, and around third, here comes Fuentes to the plate. He's going to score. It's going to be a triple. Now how big's that error? Light hitting Jeff Mathis with just his 8th RBI of the year, and he went down and got a pitch that was at the knees.
Well, 90 miles an hour on that pitch tells me it was a slider to Mathis, and indeed it was. Well, he powdered this one to center. Charlie races back, leaps as high as he can, but it eventually came down to Tauchman going over and retrieving the baseball to get it back in.
It's not Greinke, it'll be Ketel Marte. So he'll pinch hit here in the 7th. Infield is in. The Rockies now down 2 again. That was the hacked off fastball at 97 from Chatwood. Nobody out. It's going to take some special pitching from Chatwood to prevent that 5th run from scoring. This is going to get the job done. And the ball dropped out there by Tauchman. The throw to second's not going to get him. That's the 2nd error in the inning. Very uncharacteristic of this Rockies team. Sloppy play defensively.
And you know, for Mike too, that the way the ball was hit, just secure it, because you're not going to be able to throw anybody out at the plate.
You could tell as he was gearing up that in his mind he's trying to, you know, set his feet to throw. There's no way. I mean,
no.
You could have Ellis Valentine, Dave Winfield,
anybody else,
you know, Cargo out there. You're not going to throw out a runner from where he was positioned.
I mean, you can see his eyes. He took his eyes off the ball going into the glove. Go down as a sac fly, RBI for Marte, and an E7 on Mike. And the Rockies had come in 1st in the National League, 2nd in all of baseball in fielding percentage at .989 with just 35 errors.
And unfortunately, you've given all that momentum back. And you know the ball's going to find you again if you're Tauchman.
And you can hear the crowd.
Yeah. 1 out. That'll bring up Peralta. So Greinke goes 7 innings and allows 2 runs on just 3 hits. He struck out 8, didn't walk a batter. And that's a base hit, and that'll score another run. Two doubles tonight for Peralta, 2 RBIs.
And you've had poor defense this inning. Peralta for his second double tonight. Both times hustling hard out of the box. The one to right center, then for a double, and this one down the line, scoring Marte and then hustling into second base for Peralta. I think there was some confusion on what they were going to do. The Rockies were trying to tell Mike Estabrook that they just wanted to walk Goldschmidt.
Rockies began the inning down a run. Had momentum off the Story 2-run home run. Unfortunately, that's gone. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich for a limited time only. Well, the Rockies now find themselves down in the bottom of the 7th, 6-2. 2 men on after the intentional walk to Paul Goldschmidt. And with Jake Lamb coming up, it'll be Mike Dunn's turn. It'll be his 35th appearance. Mike was in the ball game yesterday. He got Jake Lamb, and then the next batter was Chris Owings, and Owings hit a solo home run against him.
Yeah, Mike, just that third of an inning, 3 pitches last night. It was a fly ball off the bat of Jake Lamb on 1 pitch.
Slider, and that pitch evidently just missed outside. Jake Lamb from the Pacific Northwest. Mike Dunn from Farmington, New Mexico. It's a great baseball town. Hold the Connie Mack World Series there every season, every summer.
Tournaments going on across the country this week, this past weekend and this upcoming weekend.
Big baseball weekend for the amateurs. And that's 3-0.
Scott Oberg now is getting loose in the Rockies bullpen. Looks like he might be good to go.
And a 4-pitch walk, and now the bases are loaded.
I think that's going to be it too for Mike.
Now you're going to get a double switch also. So they want to get a little length out of Oberg. Six-2 Arizona. Cooney lets us look back. It's 3-0 when Trevor Story, last half inning, reached down and poked a 2-run home run against Zach Greinke. Of course he did. It's his 4th career home run against Greinke. And the Rockies right there, down 3-2. But this inning has gone south. The Rockies have played poor defense, and then the triple by Mathis. Fuentes reached on an error. And then a ball that should have been caught out there by Mike Tauchman. You can see him take his eye off the baseball. And that allowed David Peralta, the pinch hitter Marte to reach. And then Peralta had an RBI double. Goldschmidt intentionally walked. Jake Lamb walked against Mike Dunn on 4 pitches. So the bases are loaded. And Scott Oberg will try to get Chris Owings.
A tough guy to double up for Scott.
Pat Valleca's come into the ball game for Amarista.
And Scott's kept 15 of 17 guys, inherited runners from scoring.
Trying to see, looking at that roof, if this is playable, and it is. Good catch by Tony Walters. 2 outs. Ninth man to hit here in this rough 7th inning is Brandon Drury. He's 0 for 3.
The Rockies this year are 39-17 when they don't commit an error. Just 9-17 when they do. Great pitch from Scott.
Scott's, for the most part, taking advantage of his opportunity, with some other guys scuffling a little bit, as you see the 3 base runners. There's the 0-1, and this is bounced to third. That is a beautiful pickup. What a play by Arenado. I don't know how he did that. Top spin in between hop, and thank goodness he did. 3 runs come in the inning, and the Rockies are down 4. Amazing. Talk about a pitching performance, a comparison of the two starters. Zach Greinke was unbeaten at home 7-0. He was terrific tonight. The one blemish when Trevor Story last inning hit the 2-run home run against him. Tyler Chatwood's line, 6 runs, 4 earned. He struck out 6, he walked 3, 1 intentional. It was a better outing for Tyler certainly than what we saw in Los Angeles, and I think in many instances probably a winning outing. It's just he finished second in that race with Greinke because Greinke was lights out. Now they'll hand the baseball to Archie Bradley. Rockies saw Bradley last night and they got a run off him, which snapped a string of 12 consecutive innings in which he had not allowed a run.
Yeah, totaling 12 2/3 innings. Those last 18 outings, just 2 earned runs. A hard thrower. Saw that last night with the fastball, 96 to 98 miles an hour. It's pretty much here it comes, hit it if you can.
Defensive change, Gregor Blanco's in left field. For 2 tonight for Tauchman, and he hits it sharply, but it's right at Lamb. So now Tony Walters with Papa Lake on deck. Curveball for a strike.
Let's see if that last inning just kind of sucked the wind out of your sails.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The Rockies at Chase Field this year have won 3 out of 4 going into tonight. Yet they've hit only .205 at Chase Field this year. And that average, if you include tonight's ball games, probably now below 200. The Rockies have only 3 hits. The reason they've won, they've pitched well. That always is a common denominator. But they've had extra base hits. They've hit 6 home runs and 14 extra base hits. You include tonight, it's 7 home runs and 15 extra base hits. This is going to be a tough play for Owens. And it's a base hit for Walters.
Well, fans, the Rockies Wives annual charity basket event is July 8th. Bid on baskets with the players' favorite things, including unique gifts and autographed items.
So Vallejo will get his first at bat.
And Pat last night 0 for 3 did have a walk in the ball game as he started at second base.
Inside. This is going to be close and lands in the second row.
Chris Taylor just hit a home run for the Dodgers. They're up 8-0 on the Padres. Chris Taylor 10 home runs this year.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. We've talked about it with the Rockies. Every good team can't just have their good players do well. They have to have some stories from unlikely sources that are positive. This is popped up and is playable. Goldschmidt, 2 outs. Chris Taylor, one of those stories for the Dodgers. Dodgers typically have trouble with the Padres. Not last night, not tonight. Dave Roberts in that ball game is sitting this one out. He is suspended. Joe Torre handed down very quickly.
That's pretty swift.
Yeah, he looked and heard about, not only heard about, but obviously got information from both sides and the umpires, and rendered a decision today that that little tete-a-tete last night between Dave Roberts and Andy Green was the fault of, I guess, Dave Roberts, because there was no fine or suspension to Dave Roberts.
No, Andy Green.
I mean, Andy Green.
He got a fine.
I'm getting that wrong.
Yeah.
But Dave Roberts was suspended, and Alex Wood also was fined. Blackman, comebacker, and for a moment I think Archie Bradley forgot how many outs there were.
He did. He was looking to second.
He's trying to turn a double play, just needed one. 6-2 Diamondbacks.
To the Diamondbacks, we head to the bottom of the 8th here in Arizona. Well, in Major League Baseball, they are setting home run records. It's become quite the national story. 1.26 home runs per game. That's what the total was coming in today. The month of June set an all-time record, the most home runs out of any month ever in Major League Baseball, 1,101. That beat out May of 2000, where they had 1,069 home runs. We're talking about a year where Sammy Sosa hit 50 home runs in a year, Barry Bonds in that group, Jason Giambi, even Todd Helton. You talk about those big names of that era. It's hard to believe the home runs are up just this much, but you also have to look at the strikeouts, you guys. Lots of strikeouts. In fact, going into yesterday, I should say, there were 6,523 strikeouts. That was a record for the most in any month as well. So, Huey, what do you conclude from all this data?
The guys are swinging real hard to try to hit the ball out. Sometimes they do, other times they strike out. I don't think it's because the ball's wound any tighter or any of that.
I'll tell you what, Jenny, and I want to jump in. I agree with Jeff. And yeah, we went through the PD era, but guys are as big and as strong legally, we assume, based on the stringent testing, as they have ever been. And there's a heavy emphasis. We talk about launch angle and all of these things, exit velocity. There's a heavy emphasis on hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and that's why, as you mentioned, the strikeouts are up. You also have guys throwing harder than ever before. So if you square a pitch up, 10 years ago when the average fastball was 89, and now you square it up and the average fastball is 92 plus, guess what? Goes farther.
Go farther.
Well, you even take yesterday to get to the record, 33 home runs were hit in yesterday's 15 games. I mean, it's coming at a crazy rate, but you guys mentioned it. I think everywhere we've stopped, we've had national writers. In fact, in San Francisco, a couple national writers asking Buddy about it. You know, do you think the ball's juiced? That's becoming this big hot topic. But I agree with you guys. You have guys that are bigger, faster, stronger. The swings are coming harder, and I think the strikeout to home run ratio proves it. You have to show the strikeouts when you show the amount of home runs.
Well,
yeah,
one final thing on that, Jenny, and the strikeouts too. The Major League record for strikeouts has been increasing each year for the last 9 years. So they'll set it one year and then it's broken the next. So yeah, it just tells me that guys aren't worried about striking out.
Yeah, I think 30, 40 years ago, there was a stigma that was attached to strikeouts. It was very negative, and now it's not as big a deal, certainly. And the guys that get paid hit it over the wall. Guys who hit it over the wall typically played your corners years ago. Now second baseman, shortstops, you know, Trevor Story. I mean, that was a corner guy.
Yeah,
there's no position that you don't look for a guy that can hit with power. And then for me, the coup de grace in the argument is, in this day and age, where nobody keeps a secret, even with the most sensitive information, seemingly. This is hit well to left center field by Blanco. And for Blanco, he's going to have himself a double with 2 outs. I think somewhere, if there was some clandestine edict, hey, the balls are going to be wound tighter this year, word would get out.
There would be a whistleblower somewhere.
And Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred steadfastly deny that the baseball's any different. I think there's other factors, and I think when you talk to pitchers, they want to believe that conspiracy theory, and I think when you talk to hitters, they say no. And by that graph, you see that home runs, yeah, they're up. How many Aaron Judges were running around?
Right. And
a while ago,
I think, as you said too, you get popped one time for the P. It's 80 games first time out. So you look at guys, they're not going to risk that.
Nice job by Oberg as he gets the final out of the 8th inning. So we'll go to the 9th. The Rockies are down 6-2 in Phoenix. The Rockies will have Raimel Tapia leading things off. It is not Fernando Rodney. It'll be Andrew Chafin throwing the baseball here in the 9th inning, or at least initially. Chafin is in a really good stretch. League hitting below 200 against him in his last 14 outings. He has allowed, I should say, just 1 run.
It's an 0.90 ERA.
Tapia is 0 for 3 tonight. You know, it looked promising for the Rockies in that first inning, even though they went in order, Huey, against Greinke, 1-2-3. Tapia hit a ball that we thought may go out to right center field. It was run down by the wall by David Peralta, and then Nolan hit an absolute missile on 1 hop to Drury at second. You think, okay, it's 1-2-3 inning, but the Rockies are seeing him well, and they have nice history against Greinke. But Greinke was spot on.
That's probably as good as we've seen Zach Greinke throw in a few years.
There's a sharp single and a good start in the 9th. Tapia against Chafin with a base hit. Well, he's really swung the bat against lefties the last 2 nights.
Oh, we saw it last night off of Robbie Ray, and then that pitch off of Chafin.
Third baseman, Nolan Arenado.
Hey, who wants tacos? Fans follow at @RootsSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 in a game or more. Nolan, a sharp single in the 7th, would ride home on the 2-run home run by Story. Greinke 7 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts. And Nolan lines one to right. Here we go. Tapia wisely down by 4, shuts it down at second. And that'll bring up Reynolds, and you know they're going to have to get Rodney up and going.
He just took his jacket off down in the bullpen. And Torey Lovullo was saying, well, I've got a 4-run lead. I'll bring the lefty in. Try to stay away from a closer. Not a safe situation when this inning started.
And you hope you have to bring him in if you're the Rockies, because then you've caused enough traffic and a headache and an opportunity. And it goes beyond that. As great as Rodney's been this year, it is not typical for a closer to come in without a clean slate. So
that's why
you may be asking him to inherit traffic, and we'll see if that happens and how it affects him. Hopefully it does.
Right, and I remember what the Rockies did to him back on April 29th here.
This is a stall job right now to get Rodney going. The Rockies have Ian Desmond available. Valleca has been used. Hannigan obviously is the backup catcher, and LeMahieu is getting close to returning. We assume he's available since he was probably available last night, but you know, Desmond's your big bat, and the reason I mention that is after Story is the pitcher's spot.
Well, they gave him an extra 30 seconds out there to have a conversation, Mike Butcher.
Yeah, that
right? I mean, he goes out there, everybody knows what he's doing, and you want these speed up rules, and Mike Estabrook just let him have a nice little tea party out there.
Reynolds tonight's been a rough one. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. That was all against Greinke. He's had a great year, and particularly good against his former club, the Diamondbacks. Beautiful thing about baseball, there is no clock. You never know.
And that's why you have to play to 27 outs.
And that's 1-2. Last home run Andrew Chafin's given up. I'm gonna laugh when I tell you this. Was opening day against Madison Bumgarner.
span of 25 2/3.
You know what he looks like? Todd Jones.
A left-handed version of Todd Jones.
Two and two. Tapia base hit. Nolan a base hit. One out. It's the first time this year that Mark Reynolds has fanned 4 times in a game.
Watch this last curveball that doesn't break into the zone. Mark swings at it, and that'll be it for Andrew as Torey Lovullo's going to his bullpen and bringing in Fernando Rodney. Two in the top of the 9th, but making some noise. Fans, the first 10,000 of you on Saturday, July 8th, will receive a Marvel Superhero bobblehead courtesy of King Supers. Well, Fernando Rodney, 20 for 23 in saves tonight. Last time he allowed a hit was May 31st. 9 games since then, 9 innings pitched, 2 walks, 14 strikeouts. It's been pretty tough. The Rockies got after him, as I mentioned a moment ago, back at the end of April. They tagged him for the loss, where he threw an inning, gave up a couple hits, couple walks, 3 runs. Ian Desmond has come to the on-deck circle to hit for Scott Oberg.
Story gave the Rockies life in his last at bat, a 2-run home run against Zach Greinke to make it 3-2. He's trying to give the Rockies life in the 9th inning. 2 on, 1 out. 40-year-old Fernando Rodney did not allow a hit in the month of June.
Back in the 7th inning off of Zach Greinke. Rockies are trailing 3-0. Trevor goes down and hits the slider with one hand and into that D-backs bullpen to pull the Rockies within 3-2.
That's a good pitch. I say this all the time in these situations, and Jeff used to live it as a player. When you're down by a pretty significant number in the 9th inning, all you can hope for is that somehow, some way you get the tying run to the plate.
And for Trevor, too, he's got to be thinking, I don't have to try to hit another home run. I just got to get on base.
Get on base.
And so sometimes that makes it a little bit easier as a hitter because you're not overthinking it.
One and two. And that's right there. 2 outs. Ian Desmond will pinch hit.
Well, you can see why Rodney has not given up hits when he's hitting location like he did against Trevor.
That ball, you know, it tails, but by the time it crossed the plate, it was pretty much in the middle of the plate.
He started it, and it came back 4 or 5 inches.
Ball 1 on Desmond. He did not start tonight against Greinke. Just historically, it's been a tough matchup for a lot of guys, but for Desmond, is bounce foul. 1-1. Desmond can reach. Mike Tauchman is on deck.
It's just the second time for Ian to face Fernando Rodney. Oh for 1 prior.
Two balls and a strike. Slowly hit to short, and that's the ball game. So the Rockies won last night by a score of 6-3, and tonight the Diamondbacks counter behind Zach Greinke, and they win the baseball game 6-2. For Greinke, he improves to 10-4. He's 8-0 this year at Chase Field. 10th straight year, by the way, for Greinke that he's won at least 10 ball games. Tyler Chatwood takes the loss. He's 6-9. Rodney picks off his 21st save of the year. He's second in the National League to Greg Holland. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Zach Greinke, he was outstanding tonight. Worked into the 7th inning, having allowed just 1 base runner before the Rockies got a couple of hits, the second being in that 7th inning, the 2-run home run from Trevor Story. But Greinke was outstanding tonight. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Final score once again, Arizona 6, Colorado 2. Rubber game tomorrow. For the Rockies, it'll be German Marquez, and for Arizona, it'll be Taijuan Walker. Let's get